Welcome to Leeds as we celebrate the 126th birthday of Rugby League this past week gone. Who would have thought, certainly not those men around the table of the George Hotel, that we would be doing the draw for the European Championship D here live in Leeds ahead of the competition coming up this October when Turkey will host the Czech Republic, Malta and the Netherlands, battling it out for the title. Well, before we get on with the draw, here's some thoughts from those involved in the competition coming up this October.
My name is Gürol Yildiz, President of Turkish Rugby League. The beautiful Bosphorus, overlooking the Bosphorus here. I'm really proud and happy to host you guys at the European Rugby League Championship, Group D, on the 14th of October, 17th of October in Bodrum, and looking forward to it. And we will be playing at the Bodrum Shears Stud, and that's the municipality stadium, Bodrum, and the official hotel where we'll be hosting all the players and taking care of will be the Blue Dreams Resort. Thanks to Levent and Ahmed, they've done a great job there, and I'm really doing a lot of PR stuff for Turkish Rugby League in Turkey. This is a fantastic opportunity to expand Turkish Rugby League throughout Turkey, and hopefully help out our region to develop as well. Looking forward for the draw tomorrow, and also really pleased to and happy to host Holland, Czech Republic, and Malta. Thanks to you guys, and looking forward to it. And hopefully, our championship will be a fantastic event for all, and it will boost the Turkish Rugby League, will boost Malta, boost Holland, boost Czech Republic, boost every single country in this region, and hopefully we can do a great job hosting you guys. Looking forward to it. Thank you again.
It's exciting, it's been a while, given the situation with COVID and all that, so it's exciting to get back to it and get back to the international games.
Tell us about your time with Malta. You've been a player, a volunteer. What's your role at the moment?
Yeah, at the moment I'm a player, and I've been involved in the local rugby league scene for now 11 years. I was a player in the beginning. I played for internationals, and I was volunteering, and now I'm playing again. So that's exciting.
Are you looking forward to getting on the pitch then for this tournament coming up in Turkey in October?
Yeah, very much looking forward. Very much looking forward.
What do you know about your opponents? Obviously, we don't know who you'll be playing yet, but the Czech Republic, Turkey, and the Netherlands are coming over to Turkey for this tournament.
Yes, the Czechs we won against a few years ago, but I've seen they've improved since then. So if we had to play against them, it would be a good matchup, And Turkey are the strongest team, in my opinion. They have the home advantage and a full selection of players at their disposal.
What's rugby league like in Malta? What's the scene like over there?
At the moment, given the COVID situation for the last year and a half, it was non-existent, to be honest. Nearly all sports here were stopped. But now, given the restart of the domestic championship, interest is starting to regain, and I believe that the games in October will gain more interest as well.
So confident and of putting in a good performance for yourselves. Obviously, as you say, everyone's in the same situation. It's been so long since anyone's been able to play properly.
Yeah, yes. That's the thing. I mean, when you mentioned the COVID situation, it's not an excuse for us. It's everyone is in the same situation. So it will be good to see how everyone came out of it.
I think it must be nice to travel, to go to Turkey, to get involved in a tournament and get a bit of local culture as well.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I've been to Turkey and I know it's really, really beautiful. So that's a nice thing, to go to Turkey and playing rugby and going to Turkey. It will be good.
So obviously you're hoping for success out there, but what's the hopes for Malta going forward in the future in rugby league?
Um, we are always looking to improve the sport here, gain more interest, and playing more international maybe. And this tournament it's like it will be leading to a World Cup qualification, so that would be a dream for any Maltese player, to play in a Rugby League World Cup or any World Cup in any sport would be a dream. So yeah, we're really looking forward for this, and I'm sure the sport will grow now.
Yeah, it's really exciting. This year, obviously, it's been the last 2 years has been really crazy. Last year was able to play Germany in the only international in Europe or maybe in the world, and yeah, it was a really exciting game. You could tell all the players had not done much conditioning during the COVID period, and this year we've been able to have a little bit more of a build up for what should be an exciting competition.
You've got a great rivalry with Germany. You've got 3 teams to play this year one of the teams at least in the semi-final, who I don't think you've ever played before, the Czechs, Malta and Turkey. What do you know about them and their competitions?
Yeah, so the Czech Republic were one of the teams where we got a very similar philosophy as them. They're very domestic based. They want to grow up organically. And when I first came over 6-7 years ago, it was like a way we wanted to copy them, really. So we're probably a couple of years behind where they are. But yeah, so organically, where say like Turkey and Malta, they maybe have a few more heritage players what they select, and so they're going to have more experience a little bit, especially if you've got Jared Samet in there, Aidan Caesar. So yeah, so all 3 we're the underdogs going into it, and yeah, that's something we're going to relish as well.
When we think of the Netherlands and sport, we think, I think probably a football, everyone will do, darts as well. Where does rugby league fit in the Netherlands?
Yeah, so the first ever rugby league in the Netherlands was in 1989. And then they entered the Student World Cup in, I think it was 95. Then during 95, for the next 10, 15 years, not much happened. Then in the last 7 years or so, it's had a little bit of a resurgence. So I came over 6 years ago, and the first training session was on a field in Rotterdam, and there were 6 players, and probably half of them were over 45 years old. Then 6 years later now, we've probably got about 150, 160 registered players, 4 clubs going into 5 clubs next year. So, yeah, it's growing steadily. It's not a massive sport, but as a rugby league person, we know that, and we like going against the odds. And, yeah, so, yeah, it's growing. And there's just when you're walking around now and speaking about rugby, people are now mentioning rugby league as well as the other code.
I mean, what is that first reaction? Because obviously it is a completely alien sport over there.
Yeah. It's always first thing they say if they know sport, it's state of origin. So then you have to explain it's not just played in Australia, it's also played in the UK and in Europe. We're building. Then the next question is, why don't you join with the other code? We explain that we're a totally different sport to them. We want to offer different opportunities to them. And then if they watch a game or come to the first training session or get involved, they tend to enjoy it.
So obviously the sport's growing at a decent rate over there. How will the public at large see their national team in action? Will they be excited to see them? Obviously, it's low on the totem pole, but international sport is always something that catches the imagination.
Yeah, the one thing about the Dutch as well, the patriotic. So even last year when we played Germany, we had to change the venue 4 times due to COVID. There was still a decent following there, and everyone turns up in orange. I work at the British school in the Netherlands, and everyone there's always behind us. This year, we're going to use their facilities to train. And yeah, there's more companies, more general public just getting behind us. And it's exciting. Like this year as well, we had a thing where the supporters could pay a donation to have their name on our training tops. And I think we got like $2,500 through that. And that just shows that there is some support for there and they want us to develop. And the fact that we're doing it organically as well, we're not trying to get anywhere fast. We want it to be sustainable. So when I leave or the development officers leave, there's still something happening.
Is that the important thing too? You mentioned heritage players, that you are growing a team of Dutch players that are based there, that play there, that are learning the sport there?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's obviously positives with having heritage players in your team because they can bring players up to a standard which on the field they don't always know, and it's very hard for a coach to influence that. But yeah, our main thing is developing Dutch players with a Dutch brand of rugby league as well, and a philosophy for rugby league.
That Dutch brand, and I was going to ask this. When we think of the football team, we think of total football, the teams of the 70s and the 80s, and how they play with a certain style and panache. Is that how you play your rugby league, though?
Not quite. No, I'd say we're hardworking, we're tough, and they like to play with each other, so they'll turn up for each other. They might not always be the most skilled players, but they'll never do anything less than 100%. And I think that's the exciting part of our team is we're a young team, and they're always willing to work for each other. They like to defend, which if you're playing rugby league and you like to defend, then you're going all right.
But you say you're going in as underdogs, but certainly you'll give it everything you've got out there in Turkey in October.
Oh yeah, we're quietly confident that, like within our group, that we've got enough players now. This has been a 5-year process, and the squad at large has been a team that's built over 5 years as well. So we're quietly confident that we can go and just play our own rugby, enjoy ourselves, and hopefully, have a few surprises there as well.
Welcome back live to Leeds, where we're just awaiting the draw for European Championship D, joined by Milan Mercenet, co-founder of Czech Rugby League, David Butler, general manager of European Rugby League, and Remond Safi, the Middle East Africa regional manager for European Rugby League, which sort of works. But we'll come to Milan first, because we've heard previews from the other three nations. Where are we with Czech Republic at the moment? How prepared are you for this tournament, and how excited are you?
Well, first of all, I'd say hi to all Czech boys and rugby league community over there. Boys are extremely excited because, due to lockdown, everybody had to adapt to new challenges. And, of course, the youth under 21 team had a brilliant experience and a very tough match in Serbia last weekend. So, we just like to hope for the best and prepare and tune up whatever needs to be done so we'll get to be very competitive in this event which is coming up soon.
And the Czech Republic is a success story. We don't hear from you enough, but you've been going for quite a long time and you've established some really firm roots in the country as well.
If I might say so, it's the 15th year since very, very beginning. Obviously we have to overcome all the challenges because that's a normal life. But if you're passionate about something, and then I'm confident to say that we're still growing, and there are very good foundations to sort of inspire these young players who were in Serbia last weekend. And if they can see our team perform well, then of course I think it'd be a brilliant inspiration for their future. And that's what everybody hopes for.
And what's the attraction, do you think, for young people playing the sport in a country that isn't familiar to it? I know they're keen on physical contact. You were saying that ice hockey is very popular there. This is sort of ice hockey without the pads, and they just genuinely seem to be a likeness for physical sport.
Very much so, Phil. As we mentioned before, yes, we're a small nation, but we are a sporty nation. People are very proud, especially this young generation now, sort of growing up after the Velvet Revolution. And then, people might be a bit curious, but as you say, this element of physicality, speed of the game, being able to be involved, whether you back or forward, in those combinations, I think that's what people find very, very attractive.
And you mentioned as well that it was a young team that represented the nation in your first game back. Youngsters seem to be attracted to the sport. So normally it starts with people who are exiled, but actually you've got a lot of young kids who are come through the Czech system that are now playing the game, and that's going to sustain you, make you self-sufficient.
We hope so, and that's what the philosophy was in very, very beginning. So yes, we are very grateful for any help, from abroad, even though we know that to find these players abroad, it is a challenge in itself, but the philosophy was always very, very clear to focus on the homeland kids, youth, and give them an opportunity to, to learn about themselves, to learn about the great sport environment, and, to be involved in something that we believe has got a future.
And I know we'll talk a bit more after the draw when you know who you've got and how it might pan out, but you've had support in the past from people like Tony Smith, who's come over and done some sort of coaching with the under-18s and was at a tournament there, wanted to give encouragement just to the whole of the European nations. And again, that kind of support I think you found incredibly valuable.
Absolutely. So I still remember like it was yesterday, under 18 European Championship with the two pools, one in Bodrum, the other one in Prague at Slavia Prague, and Tony, personality of such a high profile, experience, very friendly. So support like that you cannot buy, can you? You only have to experience it, and then you remember it for the rest of your life.
And you've got some teams with some fantastic names as well. I mean, we must talk about the Mad Squirrels. That surely must be one of the best names in rugby league.
I think so. If you're interested in more details about it, I think you better ask David Lahr, who is the leader and has been there for several years. And that's why thanks must go to Andy Mulhall as well, who played a significant part in David's development and installing in him a love to the sport. And we can see the result. And I'm very excited about the future, because quite a few of the Mad Squirrel players were part of the team last weekend in Serbia.
So we should encourage everybody to pick teams in these European nations and follow their progress. But I think we'll move on to the draw. David and Ray are going to do it. We've got semi-finals on the 14th of October, which is a Thursday. The whole tournament's being played in Bodrum in Turkey. Finals day then on Sunday the 17th. So we're effectively drawing the semi-finals. David's going to draw one team, Ray the other. I've always wanted to say this. Gentlemen, please, the draw.
Okay. So the first team out of the hat is going to be Malta.
Malta will play in the semi-final.
The second team is going to be Czech Republic.
Just to make sure that everything is bona fide and above board, I think we know the next semi-final.
So that is the Netherlands.
Now we already know who the fourth one is. For record, Turkey.
So the hosts are out last. Well, we'll get some reaction live to the draw. We'll be back on the usual 4020 live channel to discuss the development of rugby league throughout the world. While he's here, I'll get the thoughts of our Czech representative. Second out the hat, how do you think?
Well, very excited. It is exciting, It's just everybody's been waiting for a very, very long time, and players can just not wait to go back on a pitch.
And how much would you know about your opponents, Malta?
I can mention two names. Obviously, I've never experienced them in person, but Anthony, who is here with us, obviously we've met at certain events. So, hi mate, you're all right. And the guy called Matt Smith, if you can confirm, if you ever had the name, who is married to a Czech lady. And when I was 8 years ago in Prague, he still lived in Prague. So these are the two moments or players or people from Maltese rugby league, so I can remember.
So there's already a link there between the two nations. If we bring Anthony in, part of the coaching staff of Malta, you've seen the draw, must be excited by it. You've got 3 teams playing at the moment in the domestic league and a selection process going on. What are you going to tell them about the Czech Republic?
First of all, First of all, good evening, gentlemen. Exciting to hear that we'll be taking on Czech Republic, as Milan said, and hello, Milan. Long time no see. There is a couple of existing connections there. Matthew Smith is actually a founding member of the Malta Rugby League board, so that dates back to 2004, back in Australia, where we were both a resident back in the day. Victors in a really challenging day. As somebody mentioned earlier on, the Czechs have an established domestic championship. Really has been happening for a number of years, and rightfully so. Milan gave credit to the likes of Andy Mulhall and Andy Fairhurst also before that. I guess in a 14 competition, we need to beat whoever's put in front of us, whether that's in the opening game or the second game. And either of the three teams that are put up in front of us, we will have to step up for. We've embarked about 2 months ago on the, I guess, most planned and prepared campaign of Malta Rugby League history. All in all, there'll be a good three months of selections and trials, locally at least. Whether we can bring an overseas contingent into the squad, I guess it relies in the hands of COVID and COVID measures around the world. So at the moment, we're concentrating on bringing over a domestic side, but obviously if COVID measures allow for, we do have some overseas players that we can call on into the mix as well.
Leading the team out.
There's a lot of players putting their hand up for leadership roles. Jared's been a regular in the Malta side, and I think it'd be fair to say that it'd be a bit surprising if Jared didn't turn out. But of course, players have got restrictions within by their clubs, injuries to contend with as well. But I think what we can say is that any players will be coming from the Northern Hemisphere, since the Southern Hemisphere has got quite some lockdown restrictions. So, yeah, definitely Jared and the likes of a number of other Maltese players that play in the USA and over in the UK, definitely in contention. And we're in touch with who are all very excited about the tournaments. But 17 can only go into 17. So interesting times as far as player selections goes.
And just again, in terms of what it means to you as a nation, it's not only just getting back to rugby league after all of the disruption that everybody's had throughout the world, but to be in a tournament that's going to be played over 3 days, just getting guys on tour together, if you like. It's an important footstep towards perhaps World Cup qualification in 2025.
Absolutely. I guess since this is a precursor for the World Cup qualifying for 2025, this is a very important part of that journey. It's for one of the 4 teams, and unfortunately, despair for the other 3. We go out with one aim and one aim only, and that is to win the tournament. Keeping that as humble and as possible, because we've got 3 teams that will, possibly come up against, two of them. At this level of international rugby league, it's an unknown quantity. I think it's fair to say. We read about the Netherlands or the Dutch league. We read a lot about the Turkish, and I guess I know mostly about what's going on in the Czech Republic because I've been there a number of times for rugby league purposes as well. It'll mean a lot. I mean, the Maltese national rugby league team is the highest Maltese national sporting team to be ranked as high as it is. Highest ranked Maltese national sporting team in history, I should say. So any success that we achieve is definitely followed and tracked, by the leaders here, by the media here, and definitely by the small but energetic community that we have in the sport of rugby league that has been existent approximately since 2005 originally. And as we saw in the interview earlier, players, the likes of Francois Hussein, debuted in about 2011. So we're talking 10 years of experience amongst some of the players. He was a young debutant at the age of 18. We've got a mix, though, in this squad of experienced heads and very, very raw heads. I think it's fair to say, guys that, again, thanks to COVID or no thanks to COVID, aren't so experienced. But again, if you're good enough, you're experienced enough.
Well, you mentioned there what's happening in the Netherlands and the domestic competition that's going on there. We can bring in Kane Krilich, the head coach of the Netherlands side. Just start with your reaction to the draw. You're playing the hosts first up.
Yeah, it's exciting. Going to be our backs against the wall. Hopefully there'll be a lot of Turkish fans that are supporting them, and yeah, we're going to go in the underdogs, but we're going to relish that as well.
Underdogs tags, but how's your preparations going? We saw in that little feature beforehand that you've got some internationals in the run up to this, and some domestic competition has finished. You've got probably a bigger pool of players than perhaps you thought you might have because of COVID restrictions. Can you go into this tournament confident?
Oh yeah, we've got really good preparation. Like you said, the domestic competition just finished, which was a 9-a-side competition, ran over 3 weeks, so it was a shorter season than usual. But there was a lot of game time and a lot of contact, what the players have not been used to for 12 months now. Then we'll play a Dutch select team in 2 weeks, which is made up of the rest of the Dutch competition players. Then we've got the Griffin Cup against Germany, which is always an intense and fierce test match. Yeah, then that all leads up to going to Turkey.
And in terms of where the Netherlands is now at the moment with Rugby League, I can remember 2008, I think it was, the World Cup qualifiers kicked off with Holland as they were playing Georgia. How far have you progressed since then?
Yeah, so originally we probably took a step back after that. Then Jason Bruggems became the development officer, and then he resurrected Dutch Rugby League from there. And since then, year upon year, we've got better, more players playing, more clubs, more referees, more coaches, have more Dutch-born players playing Rugby League.
Obviously the issue was brought up by Malta, saying they may have some heritage players. Will we be seeing Ryan Papenhuyzen turn out for the Netherlands in this European D tournament?
No, similar to what Anthony said, if the competition was last year, there was a contingent of Australian-based players what were keen to come over. We had spoken to Ryan as well. Maybe it was more a contention for Australia in the World Cup this year, though. But yeah, so this year we're using it to produce our own Ryan Papenhuyzens, and we just want to reward the Dutch players who have committed to Rugby League, reward them, stay loyal to them, and see what they can do over in the European Championships.
Again, what we were asking Anthony, how important is it to take a group of young players at this stage of their development to Turkey for 4 or 5 days to play together, to get that communal spirit? How much is that going to serve you well in the future?
Yeah, if there's one thing about the Dutch boys is we're a tight-knit team, and this team's now has been together in the core for 4 years, so this is a next step in our development. And like I said, spending around 4 or 5 days together, 2 games, going to be some intense training sessions. It's only going to bring them closer together. And we've already spoken to the boys about this being a chance in a lifetime for them. This might be one of the biggest opportunities they've got to showcase their ability. So go out there. There's no pressure on us, and let's enjoy it.
Good luck to everybody who's taking part, particularly those people who are making the trip over there. I think it's going to be the trip of a lifetime. But good luck to everyone, and thanks for joining us to give us your reaction to the draw.
Should we head to Turkey next? Where we will be for the tournament.
Yes.
How is Turkey how is Turkey? Well, I would say we're all looking forward to going, but I'm not going. Phil's not going. How is Turkey preparing for the tournament? We're having some audio problems. That's.
Are you hearing me right now?
Yes, we can. We can hear you.
Yeah, perfect. Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, we are very happy and excited to host this tournament, and we wish success to all countries that will participate. And also, I would like to especially thank to the mayor of Bodrum, Ahmet Aras, who made this tournament possible with his collaborations and contributions. And yes, we are, as a team, we are also very excited and trying to be ready, because this tournament is the biggest tournament that Turkey will join. Except from the 2018, we were being in the World Cup, and we've seen Malta there also. Of course, we're not in the same level, but in this tournament we will be in the same level, and we will be ready for them also.
Yeah, but you don't get Malta first up; you get the Netherlands in your opening game.
Yeah.
How much do you know about the men in orange?
Well, we like the men in orange, actually, and personally, I have a little information about them. I'm trying to prepare my team physically for them also, because I've seen a couple of their players, which is very good shape, and I don't know. We gotta be ready.
Well, you'll have a crowd behind you. I gather the stadium capacity is just over 4,000. You've had a beach tournament recently with a lot of nations turning up and a lot of support behind you. Do you think the public of Bodrum are ready for rugby league?
Yeah, definitely. We are trying to create something big in Turkey starting with this tournament, and I'm very sure that the crowd in Bodrum will join this rugby feast.
And one of the aims, I believe, of hosting this tournament is to spread rugby league wider within Turkey itself, to take it to more areas and maybe expand it within the region. We've seen that in the Balkans with the Eastern European nations. Do you think that aside from winning the tournament, spreading the word of rugby league is your aim?
Yes, definitely. That's why we are doing this tournament in Bodrum, not very well known cities like Istanbul or Izmir. It's in Bodrum, and I know it's a very touristic area, but we are trying to spread this across Turkey and across the world for the Turks who can join, because we have a couple of players will join from the European side and maybe abroad, even the country Australia. So we are trying to spread the rugby league culture in Turkey also.
And just finally, your coaching team, again, subject to any restrictions on movement, could well include Aidan Caesar and Jansen Turgut, and people like that are so important to the young boys that are playing the game at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. Aidan will, if there's no, Aidan will join. Johnson and Aidan will join us as a staff, and they move most of the players. Yeah, that's true. That's sure also, but we are preparing them, the Turkish players in Turkey, playing in Turkey. We are preparing them with Julian True and myself. But the knowledge, the experience is coming from their side, so we are very excited and very lucky to have them also.
We wish you very good luck in not only playing in the competition, but hosting it as well. We hope you're going to have a wonderful time. We're going to follow everything that you're doing and report on it. And thank you for joining us this evening for the draw.
Yeah, thank you.
all very exciting. We thought a few weeks ago we wouldn't have seen much international rugby league this autumn, but indeed we will. The European Championships coming up in Turkey in October. We'll keep abreast of it here, of course, at 4020. And of course, if you want more information on all things European Rugby League, search European Rugby League on your social media channels. Thanks for all our guests for joining us live in the studio and online. And we'll see you again very soon indeed.